Hey there, guys. How's it going? So, I don't know why you guys keep asking me to talk about Canelo because I've pretty much summed up all my thoughts on Canelo years ago, like around about the time I started this channel. I pretty much told you guys what Canelo is all about and how he is perceived by the boxing establishment and how his career is going to be manipulated and managed. And there's really nothing about the guy that surprises me, but since you guys wanted me to talk about the fights last night seriously and give you guys my 2 cents on it, I pretty much am having deja vu, if I'm being honest, to what happened last year with Sergey. I mean, I was watching, watching that fight, man. I'm talking about the Callum Smith one. It was comical. It really was comical because I remember on the build up to the fight, I'm looking at all the pictures. I'm looking at big 6'4", anorexic looking Callum Smith, and big incredible Hulk looking Canelo, with his big traps and his big biceps, and you're just looking like a fucking science experiment in there. And looking twice the size of Callum Smith, despite the fact that he's considerably shorter. And I was just thinking to myself, like, but the thing is, that the thing that I was thinking while looking at Canelo, it was reminding me of like, that guy Jorge Huahi, that other Mexican dude, the guy with the fake muscles, the guy who was just pumped up like a balloon, and basically he had a whole boxing career that was fake. You guys remember that guy? He was a sort of a political figure in Mexico. And yeah, he had a whole bunch of fights, but none of them were real, and it was just funny to see these guys keeling over when he would land a little tippy tap on their chin, and it was just he had a really funny and obviously fake career that kind of went down in obscurity because nobody was even like none of the TV networks or anything wanted to pay attention to that idiot, like none of the sanctioning bodies, nothing, because it was so blatantly and obviously fake. I mean, the guy had a fake body and a fake career and fake fights and everything. And that's the vibe that I was getting looking at Canelo with his big juiced up traps and his big double chin, man. Like it was really making me laugh. But I digress. Going into the fight, I just kept thinking. I was like, how are they going to rehearse this one? Like, how are they going to how are they going to rehearse this fight? It's as if it was like preparing for a pantomime. How are they going to make this fight look as genuine as possible? Where you've got this 6'4" Callum Smith. What is Callum Smith going to have to do in that ring to make it look as if Canelo can actually beat him? And it was watching the fight. It was even funnier than I thought it would be, man. I mean, look, you look at this fight, right? The first couple of rounds, Callum Smith is out there pumping the jab. He's backing Canelo up. He's landing the right hand at will. He's landing the jab at will. He's snapping back the head of Canelo. Canelo has no defense, no head movement. He's got a flimsy, easy to work around guard, wide open to the body, and he looked flustered. Like, look at the first couple of rounds of this fight. And look at Canelo's demeanor, his body language. He was flustered. It was like a man against a boy. I was having flashbacks to the Triple G fight, where it was literally like a little kid in the ring with a man, not knowing what to do, like completely out of his depth, getting completely blown out. But then, by about the by about the third or fourth round, I think it was around about the third, Callum Smith, it was as if he was like, hang on a second, I'm not supposed to be doing this. I better take it easy on this little kid, and I better stop throwing punches because I might hurt the guy. Alright, so with Canelo flustered, like a little brat, like, oh, he wasn't supposed to do that. I'm assuming somebody had a whisper into Callum Smith's ear and like, listen, you're getting paid very, very well. You're getting paid handsomely for this show, this pantomime. So ease up a little bit, right? Pull your punches and stop beating the crap out of this little kid, all right? This little kid, he's gonna go far. He's our Macaulay Culkin. He's our big box office draw that's gonna be in some big movies in the future. So don't cause his mental breakdown just yet. We've got plans for this kid. All right, so go easy on him. Just throw some tippy taps and stop moving. Stop moving away and using your reach. Go up on the ropes, right? and stand toe to toe with him, because you're 6'4" and he can't get past your reach. Okay, so just go up on the ropes, right, from time to time and let him corner you, and then stand with your little shitty Joe Gallagher basic conventional guard that's so easy to get round and so easy to get you to the body. Just tuck your elbows in and just stand there and let him tee off on you from time to time, because we need the Mexicans to get excited and go Viva Mexico, Canelo, despite the fact that Canelo is clearly a European white boy that was adopted to be sort of the face of Mexico. Because they needed that. They needed a good-looking white boy so that they could rally behind somebody like that. That's what they needed. So they adopted him and basically groomed him to be the next Mexican superstar. So yeah, Callum Smith stopped throwing punches and instead threw the little tippy-tappy slaps on the guard, not even targeting the chin, not even trying to hit Canelo. Instead, just hitting the glove. Just hit Canelo on the gloves, on that little flimsy, easy to get around guard that Canelo uses. Just throw some little tippy taps, but stop moving, right? Because when you move, Canelo can't do nothing. So stand up against the ropes and stand toe to toe with him from time to time and just let him tee off. And then you've got Canelo landing haymakers, loading up on big punches, right, with Callum Smith standing right in front of him, and he still can't even do nothing. He couldn't hurt Callum Smith. He couldn't drop Callum Smith. Callum Smith was smiling and laughing and just lapping it all up and thinking, I'm getting paid, right, for this little kid to to whip my ass. It was comical, man. It was funny, and you've got the commentators again. You've got the NPC Mayweather commentators. The defense, the counter punching. He's such a great fighter. The head movement, the accuracy, his boxing skill, and of course the British commentators, where it's like, oh, the class, and it is a masterclass performance. Oh, the skill, and people need to appreciate it while it's still here, because we've never seen anything like this. Pound for pound, number one, supremacy. Like that's the type of thing that British commentators used to say about Mayweather, and it's the same about Canelo, and it's just funny, man. Like, this was a comical pantomime show. That's what it was, man. It was like, I don't know, man. Like, it was just like the Kovalev fight. It was the same situation. Oh, just don't hurt Canelo. Just this little kid. He's supposed to win. So throw some tippy taps. Touch his guard, move, and then stand toe to toe and stand up against the ropes, and just let him set you up for a punch. But of course, this time, if Callum Smith were to have gone down like a sack of spuds off a little Canelo little boy slap, like Kovalev did, or like Rocky Fielding did, it would have looked too comical. It would have looked too fake. So clearly, Callum Smith had to last at the distance. And like I've been telling you guys for years now, I mean, if you go back and look at my old videos, I've been telling you this for years. Canelo has no power. That guy cannot punch. I don't care how many fake muscles he has. I don't care about all the implants and all the all the juice that he's taking, HGH, whatever it is he's pumping up his ass on a daily basis to look like a bodybuilder. I don't care. The guy's got no power. All right, Manny Pacquiao hits harder than Canelo Alvarez. I'm not making that up. If you don't believe me, go and ask Shane Mosley, who fought both of them. Ask him. He'll tell you who hits harder. All right, ask Shane Mosley who hits harder out of Manny Pacquiao and Canelo. He'll tell you. All right. Not only does Manny Pacquiao hit harder than Canelo, that feather-fisted Japanese tourist that Gennady Golovkin fought, what's his name, Ishida, he hits harder than Canelo. If you don't believe me, go and ask James Kirkland, who got stopped in the first round by that guy. Right, whereas it took Canelo a few rounds to stop James Kirkland. All right, Canelo doesn't even hit hard as a feather-fisted Japanese tourist who was there for fun, basically. Like, the guy has no power. He couldn't even hurt Matthew fucking Hatton. He couldn't even hurt Miguel Cotto's journeyman brother. The guy has no power. These knockouts are not real. Like, and the fact that people are not red-pilled enough to see this shit, it's comical to me, and this is why I don't even want to make Canelo videos, man, because it attracts the wrong sort of attention. You know, it's funny. I've noticed that even some hardcore boxing fans in this community, people who like to portray themselves as people who like to portray themselves as objective, and people who like to call it down the middle and like to give fighters credit and don't like to get conspiratorial, if you know what I mean. They're not really willing to say the things that I say openly because they are concerned about their credibility. I've noticed even a lot of these people are looking at this Canelo situation and are just like sniggering, if you know what I mean. Like, I was watching on Johnny Boy's live stream, and people in the comments were just it was just all banter and jokes, because when you're watching Canelo fight, it was just, I don't know, man. There's something about Canelo, isn't there? You just can't help but see the comedy. You can't help but see the funny side, because it's like this little kid, like this little Hollywood superstar who's being groomed for big movies, and his fights are literally like pantomimes. It's like it's literally like a pantomime show, and the people that are facilitating this and supporting this, they are literally like NPCs in a movie or in a video game. You know, like the defense, his head movement, he's such a great fighter. The masterclass performance, oh the class. Like, I'm sick of hearing British commentators talk about the class in regards to people like Canelo, man. It's really funny, it really is, man. I mean, all the narratives that are going to be spun after this by the NPCs. Lomachenko can't fight going backwards. I suspect he would if you give him a good whack, though. Some of you might get that reference, but yeah, it's funny to me, man. It really is, man. The defense, the counterpunching from Canelo. Give him a good whack, though. I don't know, man. But yeah, that was funny. It really was. And all I was saying on the build up, because I didn't even make a video about the fight on the build up to it, but all I was saying, like, in people's comment sections, like, if you look at any of my comments I made about this fight, I was just saying that I wonder how they're going to rehearse this one. Like, I wonder how they're going to make this look as authentic and as real as possible, because that's going to be very difficult to do with just the size difference. And not only that, but the difference in boxing ability. Callum Smith is a better boxer than Canelo. And look, Callum Smith's not even a good boxer. Okay, you guys that have been following my channel will know that I've never rated Callum Smith. I mean, I thought he lost when he fought Eric Skoglund. He got completely exposed in that fight. Got busted up with the jab, got schooled, scored a knockdown in the later rounds, but it was too little too late in my opinion. And he got he got a gift decision, a hometown decision in that fight in Liverpool, and I didn't agree with it. When he fought Luke Blackledge, for example, and a domestic level, like area level fighter, he took a beating in that fight and had to come behind and win by knockout. When he fought that kickboxer, that old kickboxer guy who took the fight on like 4 days' notice. That was a close fight, very competitive fight, where he was meant to fight Jurgen Bremer. And I told you guys on the build up to that fight, Jurgen Bremer is going to beat Callum Smith. I was picking Jurgen Bremer to win that fight, but yeah, sadly he got ill and it never happened. And I mean, man, the George Groves fight, even his biggest accomplishment in the sport. George Groves had a debilitating shoulder injury and was on the verge of retirement. He was basically contractually forced into taking that fight, and he quit. He just couldn't pull the trigger in that fight because of his shoulder injury. So he went down and he quit. Didn't even bother trying to win. He wasn't even there to fight. So Callum Smith was himself a fraud, but he was still a better boxer than Canelo. Like, better jab, bigger puncher, right? Better defense when he decides to keep distance and not allow Canelo close. But like I said, after the first 2 rounds, he realized, he was like, I'm not supposed to be winning this. I'm not supposed to be hurting this kid. So he had to give up ground, basically, and give Canelo as much space as he needed to work. And stop throwing the jab, because Canelo can't deal with a jab, because Canelo has no defense and no boxing fundamentals, because he's never had to develop these things, because his fights are not real. All right, the guy's a pantomime, a pantomime show. That's what he is. He's a circus act for fanatics, Right, this is politics, people. He is the same thing that Floyd Mayweather was. Right, when they had that Floyd Mayweather Canelo fight, what that fight was about setting up the new guy, the new hype job that they're building up. That's what that basically was. So yeah, this was a funny, comical circus act, and yeah, it's just fun to watch these NPC narratives and listen to people talk about the class and the skill and just let's just ignore the fact that Callum Smith was he was playing with Canelo in there and just letting him do what he wanted and just having fun. It was like a sparring session where you get like a professional fighter sparring with a child and just letting the child hit them in the body and letting them get a shot in and just saying, "Yeah, you're doing very well," pat him on the head. It's funny. Mini Max, who's a channel who I've been subscribed to for years on here, he posted a really funny comment on my last video where I just made a short video on this fight, and he posted, "Here's a free lollipop, Canelo." even he's starting to catch on to what's going on here. Like everybody, like even these young boxing fans who are, have not been following the sport as long as us, they're starting to see what's up with Canelo, and it's really funny, man. It really is. So yeah, that's all I've got to say. Another chapter in the book of the fake career of Canelo Alvarez. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. God bless each and every one of you, and stay vigilant.